Saturn is not just a very karmic and difficult planet. Saturn is actually the key to your soul's growth and the journey that it has in this lifetime. Saturn is the one that can help you reach your highest potential, and also the one that helps you to get rid of all the baggage of karmas that we've been accumulated for thousands and thousands of lifetimes. Today I'm going to be going through each individual house and what Saturn means when it goes to each individual house. So let's check out what it means for your personal placement.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasari
Saturn is a very misunderstood planet, but it's actually one of my favorite planets because the moment that you start understanding what Saturn's gift is really for you, then you will love to make Saturn your best friend. And today I want to help you guys to make Saturn your best friend, because when you do that, you're getting a step closer to great achievement and happiness in your life. But before we continue, let me introduce myself. My name is Vinodini Dasi. I am a Vedic astrologer, author, and practitioner of the ancient Vedic arts like Bhakti Yoga. So if you are into ancient astrology, Vedic astrology, and ancient knowledge and self-development, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss any of the nectar. So guys, with Saturn being a very misunderstood planet, Saturn can actually be the key to immense growth. It is the one that really helps us to evolve and reach enlightenment, reach liberation, reach moksha, and reach the highest form for our personal soul and the greatest liberation that we can possibly have in our lives. Also, it gives us the gift of truly being able to serve God in its highest form, not just in this lifetime, but also in the spiritual realm. So let us understand a little bit about Saturn's beginnings, because Vedic astrology is all about the pastimes. And as we understand the pastimes of each individual graha, each individual planet, we can understand a little bit more of why they act the way they are, or the nature that they naturally are. So Shani, being a very misunderstood planet, yet is a very spiritually powerful graha. I will say one of the top spiritual powerful grahas, along with Jupiter, because Shani is not merely a bringer of suffering, because we all suffer in this world. That's just one thing that we all have in common. We may not have commonalities in our race, nationalities, genders, and everything else, but we do have one thing in common, is that we all suffer in this material world. So this great teacher is the teacher that teaches us about karma, discipline, humility, endurance, and spiritual maturity. So the way that Jupiter expands, Saturn contracts. So Jupiter expands and Saturn contracts. And we have this dance throughout our life. We can even see this in our breath. We breathe in, there's an expansion, and we breathe out. There's a contraction. So this dance is really important. We can't breathe in forever. We can't expand forever. Too much Jupiterian energy actually leads to deformity. While Saturnian energy is the thing that keeps the borders, that keeps the definition of things. But too much Saturnian energy can also bring too much rigidity. So just as Venus attracts pleasure, Jupiter reveals reality. So let's understand the purpose of the ultimate purification that Shani Dev, which is the Sanskrit form of saying Saturn, has for us. So first, let's understand the birth of Shani Dev. Birth of Shani Dev is between Surya, which is the sun, and Shaya. So Shaya was a very interesting story. So Surya Dev already has a wife. And this wife, and you can check out my son video so that you understand more about the life of Surya Dev. So this wife, she had a very hard time being close to the sun because he was so intensely hot that she was just like, I can't even be around you. I can't even be around you, Swami. It's too much. And so she decided to bring Chaya, which is like her shadow. Her shadow. And she put her there to kind of entertain Surya Dev. And Surya Dev thought that it was her this whole time, but it was actually her shadow. And Shaya, being a shadow, she was able to withstand the heat that Surya Dev will emit out of himself. And so, according to the Vedic pastime, Shaya became pregnant with Shani Dev, with Surya's child. And when the wife of Surya came back, she was very upset about this. So it was like the servant of the wife, which is Shaya, ended up having a child with Surya Dev, which is Shani Dev. And so she performed intense austerities and deep meditation. And because of this severe tapasya or austerity, Shani was born with an immense spiritual power and seriousness. And we can also see in the picture here, Shani Dev is always depicted with a very dark complexion, and he's always riding a raven. So, however, Surya neglected and misunderstood Shani Dev. And this always created tension between the father and the son. So this was like this vibe. And that's why when we see Surya Dev with any aspect, Shani Dev with any aspect to sun, there is some sort of fight. There is some sort of disharmony that happens because of this original pastime, where the son had a hard time accepting Shani Dev, especially because he felt betrayed by his wife. He thought the whole time that Chaya was actually his wife. So there was this sort of Shani Dev felt misunderstood. Shani Dev felt neglected. Shani Dev felt rejected by his own father. And Shani Dev had it a pretty hard time. It wasn't very easy, and it wasn't very, easy life for Shani Dev, especially at the beginning. So this marks kind of like the beginning of his birth, which is already pretty intense. So one of the famous pastimes of Saturn is the glance of Shani, which is one of the most famous stories, saying that Shani's gaze was so intense and karmic that even the gods feared being looked by him. Like if he looks at your eyes, you'll just be like, "Ugh!" Like it was really intense. When Shani first looked at his father Surya, Surya's radiance diminished. It limited, it restricted it, because that is the energy of Saturn. And so this symbolizes like Saturn's really humbles down the ego. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like Shani Dev, because that sensation of the ego being burned or the ego being humbled down, it's like not a lot of people can withstand it. Okay, humility for the ego is literally like walking through fire. And so this is one of the reasons why we naturally don't appreciate humility. We don't go towards humility, and we want more flattery, and we want more, praise and acknowledgement and being seen and being recognized. All these things actually puff up the ego. So this is when we start going into the understanding that Shani Dev is actually an incredibly spiritual planet. And it becomes the key to purification of the ego. Shani Dev represents that humility that we need to understand. And as we get older, there is a humbleness. Life humbles us down. And this life humbling us down is actually Shani Dev humbling us down. So this is one big reason why a lot of people have a beef with Saturn. Because we are not taught, especially in our Western world, to appreciate that our ego gets humbled down. No, we all want to be famous. We all want to have pratishtha. We all want to have this recognition of how special we are. We all want to shine. We all want to be special. We all want to be so great. And I'm not saying that it's not possible. Yes, of course. But there's a very fine line when it can turn into this arrogance, this self-centeredness, compared to a humble heart. And actually, those who are the humblest are the most spiritual, and are the ones who get the most real recognition, true recognition, and they don't get, their heads don't get twisted because of the great recognition and great praise that they get. They still understand, like, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm a pretty significant speck in the whole gigantic universe. My one of my shiksha gurus said once, and I love this, that the reason why we have an ego is so that we do not realize the great tragedy and painful realization of our utter insignificance. A little Saturnian, Saturnian medicine there for everybody. So, and for me and for everyone. When I say these things, I'm saying it to myself as well. Okay, guys, I am not somebody that has all the answers at all. And I want to make that, that distinction right now. I don't know anything. Everything that I know is because of my gurus. And I every single day, I remind myself of the insignificance that I am, just to keep myself in this humility and to not let things get to my head. Also, this pastime also teaches us that karma balances pride. So again, pride is actually one of the first sin. The first sin in the Abrahamic religions is pride. And so what balances out the pride? Karma. And that's another thing that we all have in common. We all have karma. One of the reasons why I love doing astrology is because no chart is perfect. No chart is perfect. The only perfect chart is the chart of Bhagavan when he manifests and comes in an avatar form here in the world. But no other chart is perfect. There's always a catch. There's always a debilitation. There's always some sort of something in somebody's charts. And I like to do astrology because not for people to feel like, oh, great, I have a terrible life. No. So that we recognize, like, okay, we all have prices to pay. We all have karmas to deal with. Some have karmas with material life. Some have karmas with relationships. Some have karmas with health. Some have karmas with work. Like, it's all a different thing. And this is what keeps us humble. And this is what also helps us to appreciate the good things of our chart as well. And to work through our karma. Not, oh, how am I a victim of this karma? How dare I? How did this happen? But to actually become completely and intensely, to take full accountability of everything in our lives. That even if we don't see it in this lifetime, in another lifetime, I did something that now I'm paying for. And when we take life in this way, we actually empower ourselves. We burn down the pride, and we take our power back to do what is right instead of victimizing ourselves. And then we also have the reality stripping away illusion. That is the thing that Saturn does. And so that's another reason why we don't like Saturn, is because we want to live in this sort of Maya illusion, in this ignorance is bliss type of thing. But Saturn doesn't allow you to be ignorant forever. Saturn will always give you a big reality check. And it burns. I've seen really funny videos where it's like, oh, you go through your spiritual awakening and you thought that it was going to be all rainbows and butterflies, but it was actually like crime, destruction, everything is falling apart, what's happening in my life? Like, that is the purification, the reality that Saturn brings into our life. So Saturn's gaze does not destroy randomly. It doesn't just randomly destroy anything. It reveals what is unstable, egoic, and out of alignment. And the more we realize this as mercy, oh, Saturn is trying to teach me this, okay. We see this as mercy, the better we work with the energies of Shani Dev. The better we work with it. Shani Dev doesn't care how much you put up a tantrum of like, this is not fair. Like, it doesn't matter. Shani knows what is more fair because Shani is the accountant of all your karmas of all your lifetimes. So he knows. He knows that the medicine that he's giving you is actually the most fair medicine you can possibly have. So very, very powerful. Now, the main lord of Shani Dev is Lord Hanuman. Hanuman is a very important energy of Shani Dev. It is there's a beloved story where Hanuman actually rescues Shani Dev. So Shani once attempted to influence Hanuman, but Hanuman's devotion and strength overwhelmed him. And we got to remember, Hanuman is actually Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the greatest servant of Bhagavan. He is the greatest Vaishnava. He is up in the mountains in Kailash saying Ram, 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 Ram. You know, he's the greatest servant of the Lord. And one of his forms is Hanuman. And Hanuman is the greatest servant of Lord Ramachandra. So here we have his greatest devotion. That was one of the things that make Hanuman so powerful, is that he was able to do the impossible possible because of his great devotion for Lord Ramachandra. So that devotion and that strength actually overwhelmed Shani Dev. And after this, Shani promised that devotees of Hanuman will receive relief from any difficult Saturnian influences. So Shani Dev here has a very nice energy with Hanuman. Now, this is why Hanuman worship is one of the strongest remedies sometimes for Saturn as well. Now, also worshiping Lord Bhagavan, which is the Lord of Hanuman, is also one of the most powerful, incredible remedies that we can use for Saturn. Now, let's understand the spiritual meaning of Saturn. So Saturn represents karma. It represents time. Yes, the original Chronos of Greek mythology is Saturn. It represents discipline. Discipline. This is one of the greatest things that Saturn is teaching every one of us. And discipline, as we've seen in all the other house videos that I've made of all the other planets, discipline is a very important aspect for all planets. Discipline is the formation of our greatest selves, individual selves here on Earth. So discipline is important for every single planet, but the main lord of discipline is Shani Dev. We also have with Saturn delays, because Saturn is the slowest moving planet. Not talking about the outer planets, Saturn is the slowest moving planet. So Saturn takes around 30 years to get through the whole houses, which means that we have up to max three Saturn returns in our lives, one in our 30s, one in our 60s, one in our 90s. And Saturn is the one that takes the longest in a sign, up to 2.5 years. So Saturn takes his good time. And because of this, there's delayed energy. It could feel this energy of delays, of tediousness, of like, oh my God, I'm so done with this. And it's like, nope, we're not done with the lesson yet. Responsibility. Another thing, Saturn actually rules as well the adult and the older and senior ages. So Saturn actually becomes more merciful as we get older. Saturn becomes more strict and more intense as the younger that we are. So Saturn cools it down as we get older. But Saturn really represents the older version of ourselves, the most wise version of ourselves. So therefore, we have responsibility, we have discipline. We take in our karmas how we should. We don't complain. We don't whine about it. No, we just do it. And also, because there's so much delays, Saturn also teaches us about detachment. Detach from the outcome of what you're from what you're trying to get out of things. And that is one of the main lessons of the Bhagavad Gita, is that do not be attached to the fruit of your outcomes. This is an egotistical route. Oh, I'm going to do this so I can get this. I'm going to do this because I want to get that. I'm going to start doing this because this is what I want. And then we usually don't get it exactly as we want it. We get upset, we get angry, we get frustrated, we get so, we throw a fit about it. But Krishna says, listen, we have no right over the fruits of our labor. We only have the right over our duty. That's the only right we have. So do your duty. And Bhagavan will be the one who deals with what fruits you get out of that. And whatever you get out of that, Be grateful. So there needs to be this detachment, and this is another reason why they say, like, in manifesting things and stuff, like, you don't want to be attached to the outcome. You want to know, like, it's already already yours. You don't want to be in this hankering energy. You don't want to be in this, like, I need it, I want it. Like, it sabotages the whole thing. So Shani Dev is also teaching us about this detached energy. At the same time, because of it, Shani Dev throughout our life is bringing us maturity. So that is one of the main things as well with Shani Dev, is maturity. The more mature you are, the easier Shani Dev is with you. The more immature you are, the harder the lessons with Shani Dev are. And he teaches you through humility of your ego, humility of your pride, humility of your selfishness, humility of your egocentricness. And also, because it is such a tedious energy, Saturn also teaches us about endurance. We gotta endure, okay? We gotta endure. And the more we endure, the more we'll get through. But we can't just throw in the towel. We have to finish the work. And so that endurance is also represented with the energies of Saturn. So he's really teaching us patience. That's why they say patience is a virtue. It truly is. It teaches us about patience. It teaches us about integrity. When we're not patient, Shani chastises. When we don't have integrity, Shani chastises. It teaches us about emotional maturity. And it is also the one who is teaching us about surrendering to divine timing, surrendering to the divine calling, surrendering to the divine plan. It is said in ancient scripture that we don't even know what is our greatest, deepest desires of our hearts. Only God knows what it is, our deepest desires. We may think we know what we want, but that's usually the mind or the ego who think that they want something, who think that they want this. But God is the only one who truly knows the calling of your deepest desires of your heart. So the significance of Saturn in Vedic astrology is where we experience karmic lessons. This is how we see the Saturnian placement. It is also the areas that require more patience and more effort. It is that part where Saturn lies. It literally is the part where you're like, you have to face your fears. The saying "face your fears" is face your Saturnian placement. That's pretty much what it means, because it requires patience and effort. Saturn is counting if you are ignoring it, neglecting, or playing like la la la, don't want to think about that, don't want to see that, I'm just gonna like ignore that. Like, Saturn is going to notice that. So it is the areas that require patience and effort, not just the placement where we were born with, but also every transit of Saturn is asking this for us. Where we fear and where the fear and insecurity exists, this is our biggest fear. This is our biggest insecurities. It is the Saturnian placement, as well as how to mature spiritually. Saturn is also giving us the clue of how we can mature spiritually. Now, when we have a strong Saturn in our chart, we are disciplined, we are wise through experience, we learn through our experience and become wiser, we are stable, we are humble, we have long-term success. So this is another, one of the things that people get is that you get the long-term success. Jupiter gives you expansion and success. But the easy come, easy go is a little bit more of the Jupiterian energy. But if you want long-term success, even to the point that is like a lineage for your family and your family's family and your family's family's family, that is a Saturnian energy. So you want the long-term success that is sustainable, that it doesn't end? Saturn is the one that's going to help you get to that. So long-term success and endurance and resilience through your life. Now, if we have a weak Saturn in our charts or afflicted, then we have fear and anxiety. Easy fear and anxiety. We isolate. We have this isolation issue, isolation problem. We delay We have a lot of delays. We delay doing what we need to do, and therefore we get obstacles. We may feel like there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of delays. We may have depression or heaviness. Yes, Saturn is the one that feels like a little gray cloud over your head. Is that energy of Saturn, the depression and the heaviness. Saturn is also, it gives you like this scarcity mindset. It's not enough. I don't have enough. When am I going to get? They have more than I do. Why do I have so little? Like this scarcity mindset. And it doesn't matter if you are somebody who has. You can still have these feelings of scarcity deep down inside. And the feelings of being burdened in life. Like just, oh, life is a burden. Everything's a burden. Everything is suffering. Oh my God. Like this attitude is showing like an afflicted Saturnian energy. So that is for the main energies of Saturn. Now let us understand what are the Saturnian remedies that we can use to strengthen our Saturn in our horoscope. First, one of my favorites is to use the color black, dark blue, or dark purple for Saturdays. Wear these colors on Saturdays. Saturday is actually the day of Saturn. So on Saturdays, it is the perfect time for you to wear black or wear dark purple or wear blue colors. That is a great time. And that is also going to help you balance out your Saturnian energy. Another one that what heals Saturn mainly is humility. Practicing humility. Every single time that we are selfish, egocentric, that we don't respect others, that we are not humble, that we think we're better than others, Saturn gets debilitated. So humility. Humility is very, very important for a spiritual path. As I mentioned, the most spiritual people, the highestly and most advanced spiritual people are not the people who have the most followers on Instagram or YouTube, are not the ones that look like they have the perfect look of a teacher and a spiritual person who has like the nicest beard. No. Like, it is the one who is the most humble, who it is so humble. That is the one who has the highest spiritual Shakti, spiritual potency. They also have this natural energy of service. When you service, that heals Saturn. Not when you're being served. No, when you service others. When you service others in any single way without wanting anything in return. You're not doing a favor for someone because you want something back. No, you just give of yourself. That is service. Especially if you do service for Guru, even better. Also, discipline. Saturn wants you to be disciplined on a daily basis. It wants you to have this discipline energy. Waking up early, going to bed early, working out, not being lazy. Discipline. Saturn is the one that wants you to be disciplined. So having discipline in your life, so Saturn will become stronger. And integrity. Be a person of your word. What you say you're going to do, you do it. Don't lie. Don't deceive. Don't hide things. Be what you see is what you get. And show face. Show face in everything. Integrity. Treat your word as if it was $1 million. I say this a lot in a lot of the planets because if we really think about it, the only thing we truly own is what we say. We don't own our bodies. The body is going to be, taken away in 100 years or so. This is the property of God. We don't owe things. Everything that we have is literally rented. We can't take anything with us. But what we say, the words that we say, and with the quality of consciousness and ignorance, it builds our life. It builds our world. This is the reason why the word and the word world are in together. Because our words create our world. So the more we treat our word with great integrity and with great, like I said I was going to do this, I'm doing it. I said I was going to show up, I'm going to do it. I said that I'm going to finish this, I'm doing it. This is the way that we not only gain more integrity, but also confidence in ourselves, and Saturn becomes stronger. Now, one of the best mantras to use for Shani and healing is Om Sham Shani Charya Namaha. Om Sham Shanya Charya Namaha. Om Sham Shani Acharya Namaha. This is the best mantra to use for Shani Dev and healing Shani Dev. And of course, 108 times will be the best way to use it. On Saturdays, on the Shani Hora is like the best. But chanting it on Saturdays will be the best time to really bring healing to your Saturn. Also, as we talked about Hanuman, worshiping Hanuman is also a great way to heal Saturnian energy. So singing the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a beautiful, beautiful bhajan, that is a great way to strengthen Saturn, especially in very difficult Saturnian transits. Also, Hanuman mantras could be great. And as I mentioned, the great Mahamantra as well, since that is the Lord's mantra and the Lord of Hanuman. So Hanuman naturally helps to reduce Saturnian related suffering through devotion and courage. Okay. Also service and humility. So service is very important to Shani Dev. Shani Dev is actually a servant in its nature. It's a servant energy. So Saturn rules the marginalized working class, the Shudra class, the hard working class. And we're all pretty much Shudras when we're in Kali Yuga. Like, you know, there's no Kshetras, which are the warrior class. There's no Brahmanas. I mean, there is very little, but most of the whole world is in the rat race of the 9 to 5. And even if you don't work at a 9 to 5, you're still hustling, you're still working, you're still, in this Shudra and this working class energy. And it's just because the whole system has been made like that. Yes, of course, the powers that be, the people who are in power, they want to enslave everybody. That is that working class energy that Saturn naturally rules over. So the elderly people, as I mentioned at the beginning, so if we service these people, if we service the elderly, this is going to make Saturn very, very happy. Even if it just starts with being serviceable towards your grandparents. And this is something that we're also kind of forgetting nowadays, because nowadays, AI knows more than my grandparents. So why do I have to ask anything to my grandparents? Like, there's this attitude where we're not appreciating our elderly class. We're not appreciating our grandfathers, our grandmothers, and we're not appreciating the elderly, who are actually the wise ones. So Saturn actually heals a lot when we do service the elderly class, the elderly people, when we honor and we respect the elderly people. We also respect the poor, those of us who are poor, those of us who don't make enough, a lot of money. Respecting the poor people, being kind to poor people is another way to strengthen Saturnian energy. To also respect the laborers, those who are in the working class, those who are doing the dirty jobs, the dirty work that nobody wants to do. Those people are meant to be honored and service. And when we service those people, Saturn becomes very happy. And also to serve animals. Animals are helpless. Yes, they can have fangs. Yes, they can fight, but not against the things that human beings do. Not against, a meat factory, not against guns, and not against, these things. We use our intelligence to hurt them, and we turn the cheek. But in reality, Saturn actually becomes more happy when you service animals. And not just one kind of animal, all animals. That is the ultimate one. All animals, all living entities. Is the best way for Saturn to really be stronger. So Saturn softens through a sincere service, through sincere, having that sincerity in our service to give and to help others. Also living ethically. Saturn wants you to live ethically, and Saturn will be the first one to cut you out if you're not living ethically. You get the punishment real quick. So keep your promises. Very important for Saturn. Be responsible, even if sometimes we don't feel like doing it. Be responsible. Practice integrity, as I mentioned, and avoid any shortcuts. This is something where sometimes the mind thinks that it's so witty, that it's so intelligent. Oh my God, I'm such a genius because I'm going to cut off all these corners and everybody else is, doing the line, ha, 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 ha. No, Saturn is I see it. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing all the time. So nip it in the bud with your mind, that the mind is not like, oh, but we can cheat, we can make it easier, we can cut the corners. And this is not meaning like don't work harder, not smarter. Yes, you can work smarter, not harder, but no cutting any shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. Everything that is worth having is worth building and is worth putting effort on it. And the more time and effort you put on it, the more solid, the more integrity, and the more stable it will be for you in the long run. So avoid any shortcuts. Saturn will really slap your hand for that. So Saturn rewards honesty over time. How honest have you been in your process? Even when things were harder, even when things were difficult, even when things were not given to you easily, how did you respond? And also simplify your life. Saturn really enjoys like no excess distractions, like a simple life. Like we don't need a television in every single room of our house, in every single toilet of the house. Like avoid these distractions. Having more control over yourself and discipline over the phone, over these things. Excess distractions is definitely going to be a thing of cluttering in your life that Saturn will not be very happy with. Toxic habits. We all know these toxic habits. Everybody has their own vices and toxic habits. You know what they are. Drugs, intoxication, alcohol, shortcuts, even like we don't see it because it takes a while, but we will eventually see after like maybe 15-20 years the aftermath of the advances in technology to our mindset. Later we will also see the aftermath of, for example, drugs that makes us have shortcuts like peptides and Ozempics and things like this, like where we don't have to put effort. Something's got to pay, something's got to give. And that's the thing that Saturn really delivers, because laziness gets never awarded by Saturn. Saturn will never reward you for doing something in the lazy way, the procrastinating way, through a toxic habit. And avoiding doing the hard work, avoiding doing what needs to be done, avoiding, putting more effort into things that need to be put on, avoiding responsibility, avoiding patterns. Saturn really, really brings down the hammer on those things. So Saturn strengthens through structure, discipline, and healthy habits. Saturn's charity, the best Saturn charity remedy is, of course, donating on Saturdays anything black, from like black sesame seeds, black blankets, dark clothes, or food for the needy, or even just food overall. Helping those, that's going to also be a healing energy for Saturn. Now, of course, patience and consistency. Saturn rewards slow, steady effort. The more comfortable you become with this, the easier your life is going to be with Saturn. This is not an energy of instant gratification at all. And eventually the instant gratification will turn into a poison, because Saturn is the one that is the wise one that knows that there's no such thing as instant gratification. And instant gratification, all it does is putrefy the mind, and it weakens the mind. So Saturn knows this. So the deeper spiritual lessons that Saturn is teaching us here is that Saturn strips away all illusion from the soul, so that the soul can truly mature. And this is what we're here for. We're not just here for making a bunch of money. Like, we're here for the soul's growth. So his lessons feel very heavy because he focuses, because he takes away that comfort, and he breaks away those. He makes you confront your ego. He makes you confront your fears. He makes you confront your avoidance, and he makes you confront your attachments. So, but ultimately, Shanidev is going to lead us towards wisdom, stability, a spiritual depth, and a liberation from superficiality. So that is the energies of Saturn. Now, let us go into each individual house. Make sure you check your Vedic astrological chart. Check out in the description here below my birth chart calculator so that you can find out what is your Saturnian placement. Check your ascendant chart, and also you can check it from your moon chart as well. So let us begin. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the first house, then this is for you. This is going to be your general summary of what Saturn in the first house means. Now, Saturn in the first house, it is focused on disposition, which means that this is really where we embody those Saturnian energies. You, out of most of all the house placements, really has come into this world to embody that Saturnian energy. Everything that I talked about at the beginning of the video, definitely check it out because that's going to give you more insight of what that means. So when we have a strong Saturn in the first house, a positive Saturn in the strong house, in the first house, you're going to get life that gets better as time goes on. So that's the one thing I want you to first understand. Your best years are yet to come. And it'll be better for you to actually have this motto in life so that you don't feel like, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? I've done everything. Oh my gosh, am I ever going to get my break? Your life gets better as time goes on. Your beginning of your life could have been very difficult. So just have the hope that it's not going to be difficult forever. There is hope at the end of the tunnel, and at the end of your life, you're going to have the best years of your life. So it gets better with time. With you, everything gets better with time. Also, you benefit from working some sort of schedule. You really should have a schedule, a to-do list on a daily basis. Not, a practical schedule. Like it cannot be this, oh, let's see how I feel today. Oh, I feel like doing this. Maybe I don't. Like, no. You really benefit from scheduling 6 months, a month, a week, the day. And following this, Saturn will definitely be, not only will you accomplish a lot, but Saturn will also be very proud of you, and it will give you a giant break. Also, very prudent. You're naturally a person who's quite prudent, quite hardworking. Even when it comes to work, like people may know you and you're just like fun and all, but when you work, and let's say you're working with your friends are like, whoa, you're like really serious now. It's like, yeah. When it comes to work, when it comes to getting things done, you are disciplined, you're strong, you're down to the point. It doesn't matter if they're your friends of life. It doesn't matter if they're your best friend. It doesn't matter if they're your family. You get down to business. Very hard, very strong. We also have a very structured approach to life. When Saturn is strong here, you have a very structured approach to life, which is good for you. Naturally is a very good thing for you. And you want to keep that humility and that service attitude always. You have goal setter. You always want to make some goals in your life. Set up goals, set up like to-do list and goals. Like this is how your life and your energy really works very well. Another thing with Saturn here is that when it's strong, it takes a very strong position. You can take on very hard work, hard loads of work, without complaining, without getting upset, without, being mean or anything. You take it like a man, you take it like a woman, and you get it done, which is wonderful. Also, you're always thinking to advance your position. So there is this energy of going up the corporate ladder for you naturally in your life, metaphorically, that you want to go up that mountain. You want to be that goat mountain that is naturally going up the mountain and achieving something and going towards something. It is good for you to have these goals in life so that you can go towards some sort of achievement. You could also be very cunning, very smart, very naturally very cunning, very shrewd as well, very prudent as well. And very, you honor confidences. So when you have like the confidence of someone, or you have a very good relationship with someone, you respect it a lot. You really take it into appreciation. You maintain that respect, and you try to maintain the energy to keep it confined and make it, trustworthy. It's very important for you to be a trustworthy person, to be a person of your word, to be a person of your honesty. Also, there is this very solid and immovable energy about you. I would say that the people that I have met that actually have a Saturn in the first house may have this like hard body. You may think you're like, I'm just normal, but people touch you and they might be like, damn, you're hard. And not just because you're muscles, but there's like this heaviness, this like density where people feel like you are like immovable. Also, I've seen Saturn in the first house people, they're quite slow. You may not think you're slow. You're like, I move at my pace. Yes, you move at your pace, but everybody else may be like, God, you're taking forever. God, you're so slow. God, why are you not walking faster? Why are you not getting ready faster? Like, you take your sweet time. And this slow energy may even go into your speech. How you express yourself may be a little bit more slower than everybody else. And it's not like a bad thing, but Saturn naturally gives this energy. Now, if Saturn is badly aspected, if it's weak, if it's debilitated, then one of the main things that I have seen with Saturn here is that it makes you very rigid. So one thing that I think it will be great for you, and one thing that actually helps you a lot, is yoga. Yoga. I will say it more than lifting weights, because that makes you more rigid. Like, lift some weights, but always stretch. Always stretch. Always stretch. Your weakness is flexibility. There's not enough flexibility. There's not enough like limberness. And this may get worse as time goes by, where like your body becomes more stiff, you get more, pains. If you fall, like you hurt yourself easier. So yoga for you is very important, keeping yourself flexible. Not only does it keep the body flexible, but the mind flexible as well. If the Saturn is not strong in this placement, it can give you early years are the least happy. They're the most difficult. When you're younger, they're the least happy. They're the most difficult for you. Very tedious. You can also have trouble with ambiguity as well. You can also have the energy to want to control others and diminish variables. There might be this criticism. There might be this like diminishing other people and controlling others. There could also be this energy of selfishness when Saturn is debilitated in the first house. Also, a lack of confidence, a lack of consciousness. You may be saying things that you're not thinking before you say them. And they could be very harsh, they could be very mean, they could be full of criticism. There could also be this energy of frustration, a pent up desires where you're just like, I can't meet up the desires I want to meet up. There's this frustration in your life, feeling frustrated that you didn't get to reach the things that you wanted to reach. So Saturn here, if it's debilitated, it could also be showing these signs. It could give you an energy of depression. You get easily depressed. You isolate yourself. Also, it keeps things to themselves. You keep everything to yourself. You don't really open up too much. You don't really express too much. There's like this inhibitedness that Saturn kind of brings into your body, into your sense of self. There could be a social inept or a misfit, where you just feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like you're socially inept, or like people don't get you, or you're not that fun to be with. But this is all in your head. It might not even be true, but you just feel like this. And there could also be this joint ailments where maybe your joints are having trouble, arthritis or anything with the joint relating, as well as maybe being slow physically and developing. You develop very slowly. It takes a while for you to grow into your full self. And also the low resistance to disease. You can easily get into diseases very easily. And also the Vata imbalance is very common in you. I highly suggest that you always maintain a very balancing Vata diet and Vata routine, so that the Vata doesn't get out of control. Vata being the Ayurvedic dosha, where there's too much air and too much cold. Saturn naturally rules this Vata energy, and because it is in your body, you kind of are this person who is naturally more cold, naturally more airy. So it is so important for you to have daily routines, daily meals at the same time, and eating a lot of warm, watery foods, soups, stews, things like this to balance out the Vata is going to be very important for you. So if any of these things is something that you have felt, then I highly suggest that you go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video, because that's definitely going to help you to make the Saturn stronger and more balanced, so that you can get more of the positive aspects of Saturn in the first house. So that is for you, Saturn in the first house. I hope that helped. Remember that these are general messages. If you would like for me to look into your chart more deeply and actually get a full understanding of your Vedic astrological chart, then definitely book a consultation with me in the description here below. Alrighty, those were your messages, Saturn. I hope that Saturn in the first, I really hope hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the second house. Welcome to anybody who has Saturn in the second house. This is for you. Saturn in the second house is a very interesting placement. This is where we get our attention into our finances. So Saturn here, when it is goodly aspected, when it's strong in the second house, it's definitely going to give you an accumulation of wealth over time. I've seen people who have Saturn in the second house at the beginning of their life, they could be very difficult to accumulate money, but they're definitely going to have abundance and prosperity later on in their life. They're not going to be those people that get bankrupt when they're very, old or anything like this. They really solidify a very stable abundance in later on in their lives. Also, they get economical wealth as well, naturally, and they're very calculating. They're calculating every single expenditure. They calculate how much they spend, how much money is going in. It can naturally make you quite shrewd in the way that you spend your money, especially if it is for selfish reasons. You might not be such a spendthrift where you're just like, oh my God, I wanted to buy myself that Gucci bag. Like you'll think about it like gazillions of times. You're that person that may build up, a store and leave the cart just open there, think about it for quite some time. Am I going to buy that? Am I not going to buy that? But for bigger purchases, where there's a lot of money, you are more confident and you usually use it for investments. Also, there is this energy where you work hard for your money. You work very hard for your money. And this is one of the reasons why you take your time in spending it. You just don't spend it frivolously like that. There's also an orderly speech about you. You take your time talking. You want to make sure that what you're saying is the correct thing to say at the right time. You think before you speak. This is when Saturn is strong in the second house. So it gives you a little bit more, you're very conscientious of what is it that you're going to say and how that can affect things. There's also this energy of being conservative. You are conservative with your money, you are conservative with what you spend, and you are conservative naturally, like your values are conservative. And this is not a bad thing. Saturn loves the classics, the conservative classics. If it has worked for so long, why change it? So this naturally makes you in a more conservative attitude. And when I mean conservative, I don't mean the type of conservative of what we have nowadays, like the liberal that we have nowadays and the conservative that we have nowadays, especially in America, is not the original conservative and the original liberal. Like it has totally changed through trends and things like this. Also, there's this energy of being defined. You are very defined in studying habits. You are very studious when Saturn is strong in the second house. You want to study hard. You want to take your time, learn things that they need to be learning. You get good habits in this way. And there's also money from the old that you naturally get. You get from old people, your parents, your grandparents, old people, like old money can come here as well. And there's also this energy of being very traditional. So it works for you. When Saturn is strong here, it makes you somebody who's quite traditional, quite conservative naturally. It also gives you this energy where you use standard processes and practices, simple and traditional choices of foods. This is the house of food. So a wonderful way to heal this Saturn here is also fasting. Naturally, fasting is going to be very helpful for creating more abundance in your life, controlling the tongue, controlling what you eat, controlling and having discipline in your food intake. Not eating tamasic foods, not eating foods that are going to be bad for you, not eating, like the cravings, controlling your cravings, controlling like, I just love eating this, I just love eating that. Like it's like controlling that. Saturn here becomes stronger when you do that. There's also a moderate family happiness. So not super crazy happiness, but steady happiness with your family. Your family may be very traditional. Your family likes tradition, and Saturn becomes strong here when you do follow those traditional parts of your family. So that is when Saturn is strong here. Now, if Saturn is badly aspected, retrograde, or in a debilitated form, or is just weak from your own actions, then Saturn is going to be giving you different results, like you find it hard to accumulate money. this becomes a little bit more difficult for you. You may always have this feeling of like, I just got paid, but it's not enough. I just got paid, but it's not enough. I just got money, but it's not enough. And so there's always this feeling of like, I'm at the verge of poverty at any moment, even though you're not poor. So we have to control this lack mentality. We have to control this energy of like, I don't have enough, and practice more of I am grateful for what I have. Even if it's a little bit, I have, and I'm grateful for it. This is going to strengthen the Saturn as well. There's also this energy of restricted or boring speech. Like, you may not speak up. You may restrict yourself too much. You may feel like it's like a boring conversations that you give. So Saturn here may be debilitated when these feelings come up. Also, there might be this energy of inconsiderate, where Saturn is not controlling the tongue, and so it becomes inconsiderate towards others, inconsiderate in their speech towards others, in the way that you express yourself. It could be this energy of inconsiderate. There could also be this energy where you eat unhealthy. You eat very unhealthy, and Saturn here really punishes that, like the eating lazy foods that you don't cook, foods that are bad for you, foods that are in the basis of your cravings and the basis of your attachments. Then Saturn here may be debilitated as well. There's also this energy where you might smoke or take drugs or alcohol. That's when Saturn is debilitated here. Saturn does not want you to do that. It does not want you to consume anything that is intoxicant, alcohol, or anything like this. It debilitates your Saturn in the second house for sure. There could also be this energy of a dry and wrinkled face. So Vata, again, the Vata energy, the wrinkled energy, the dry energy. So very important to always be drinking water, always be drinking hydration drinks, keeping yourself hydrated. Not fasting from water, not having a lot of like watery foods, fresh fruits and things like this, because it can give this dry and wrinkled face. It also gives like paralysis of the mouth and face when it's weak and debilitated. It could also give eye problems. Remember this, the second house and the 12th house are the eyes in the chart, so it can give eye issues, as well as poor teeth, lips that are dry, lips that are having problems. Also, any gum diseases, throat troubles, any thyroid problems that Saturn can also give here, and any cold or restricted family happiness can also give you here. So Saturn will show these tendencies when the Saturn is weak or debilitated. It is important for you to definitely go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video that can really help you in strengthening your Saturn and making it more powerful, so that you get more of the great benefits that Saturn can give in the second house. Alrighty, so those were your messages, people with Saturn in the second house. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like to have a specific message to your situation, then I highly suggest that you take advantage and book a consultation with me today, so that we can look deep into your chart personally and really find out your personal soul story. Alrighty, those were your messages, Saturn in the second. I hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the third house. Welcome, Saturn in the third house. If you have Saturn in the third house, then this is for you. Saturn in the third house is actually a good placement. Saturn likes to be in these difficult houses of effort that become better with effort. So especially the third house is the house of effort, is the house of courage. And here you are focused on determination. That is one of your greatest assets, is that you have this determining energy towards achieving and towards making things happen. Saturn here may make you slow to act, but once you start acting on that project, on that skill, on the things that you want to get done, you get a consistent sort of growth that happens here. So when Saturn is strong and goodly aspected in the third house, then you can get this very strong determination. You are very deliberate. You are a go-getter. You are not afraid of hard work. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty and get to work and do the things that need to get done. There's also this energy of systematic. You like systems. You work well with systems, even if it's just having like a good schedule for yourself. All of this really helps you in staying consistent. You're a very careful planner naturally, so that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. This will make for a great entrepreneur. Now, the results may take a little while, but eventually you do get what you want here. You could be a very skillful person. You may take a while to learn things, but once you learn them for life. That's another thing here, that it could make you feel like you're not catching things as fast as other people catch it, but once you catch the understanding of something, it really sticks with you for a very, very long time. So you don't just memorize things, you truly learn them. There's also this energy of being very considerate towards others, very big helper towards others naturally. There is this 9 in you're very nice in a formal way. So you want to be very formal, you want to be very nice. This is when Saturn is strong in the third house. It also gives you you communicate very thoroughly. You want people to truly understand what it is that you're saying, and so that you communicate very thoroughly in all the things that you explain and all the things that you teach and all the things that you are trying to help other people learn. You are very good at communicating very thoroughly overall. You also have you could be a very technical writer. People here that have this placement have become like great writers who write great epics, books that may take them years upon years, even decades, but once they finish, it's like, wow, like a masterpiece. So it gives you that determination. It makes you a very technical writer naturally, very consistent. It might take some time, but you do get it done at the end. There's also this energy of being very conventional in art. You could have very good artistic qualities, but you like technique. You like things that have technique. You like things that have a process. You like things that have some sort of steps to get to them. Not so much abstract craziness, but more like technicality and being very practical and technical in your artwork and your skills. You have this ability to really perfection these techniques naturally with the Saturn in the third. You may also have a very cordial relations with siblings and neighbors. So when Saturn is strong here, it's not like the friendliest thing ever, but you are very cordial, you're very nice, you're very respectful with your siblings and with your neighbors. And now I have seen also that Saturn may not give you relationships or siblings with siblings. So you might not get siblings in your life. You might be an only child, or you do have siblings, and it might always be this, not the super lovey-dovey relationship, but this very cordial relationship with them, as well as having you find the best way to do something. Always you find a very good system to get to your results, to get to your solutions. There's also a very good concentration or focus, and this is definitely a strong Saturn here. Like, it helps you focus, it helps you have strong concentration. Maybe at the beginning it takes some time to get into the focus mode, but once you're focused, you're locked in, which is one of the great things of Saturn in the third house. And it also gives you this consolidator where you manage things and you consolidate things, and you are able to manage many pieces of one project at once and really bring them all together. So that is when Saturn is strong in the third house. Saturn also gives you a big karma with your siblings. You really have to take care of these things, and also it wants you to really work hard, to be a person that shows and creates their life through effort. And when you do this without being lazy, you're definitely going to get amazing results. Now, if Saturn is debilitated, retrograde, or badly aspected, or just weak from your own actions, then we can get different results with Saturn, where maybe we start feeling a restriction from our younger siblings or our neighbors. We have problems with them. We are not getting along with them. We're having like difficulties in understanding them. There could also be this compulsive sort of energy instead of being able to truly control your reactivity and not being so responsive. There could also be this energy of plans, but it is immobilized about taking action. So you plan a bunch, but you don't actually take the action. That is a debilitated Saturn in the third. Saturn in the third really wants you to take the action and work every single day towards that effort. You may not learn the instrument immediately, but if you stick to it, and every single day you spend an hour in your instrument, Saturn will eventually will make you a great master of this skill, but it wants you to really work hard through that. So if it's debilitated, you might not be taking action. There is also this scrupulous sort of energy if it's debilitated, as well as having little feelings for or awareness of those close to them, where you may be feeling disconnected from your loved ones or disconnected from the immediate world or from their needs or what is it that they want. That could be a debilitated form of Saturn in the third house. Also, communications are hard to understand or overly structured. So there could be some communication problems here. If it is badly aspected, it can even give you some dialect issues or speech issues. But naturally, there is this sort of communication that can be very hard to understand when Saturn is debilitated in the third house, as well as you put in a lot of extremes of effort, where maybe you do a lot of extreme of effort, but then you don't do enough, and so there's always this sort of feeling of burnout, and then I'm like lazy, and then I'm super burned out. So, or sometimes not at all. Sometimes you just don't put any effort whatsoever. So that it also shows a sort of debilitated Saturn in the third house. There could also be a restricting hearing or ear problems, not listening enough, having issues in really hearing people, like not just hearing them, but like listening to them, listening to their needs and listening to what they need in their lives. And also joint pain in the back, in the hands, and in the shoulders. So Saturn can be giving issues like this if it is badly aspected or debilitated. So my best advice is definitely go at the beginning of the video where you can find the remedies. The remedies are going to help you to strengthen your Saturn, and in that way you will be able to get more of the great benefits that Saturn can give you in the third house. Alrighty, those were your messages, people with the Saturn in the third house. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like me to look deep into your natal chart, then definitely book a consultation with me. In the description here below, you will be able to book one today, and we can go deep in understanding the mystery of your chart. Alrighty, those were your messages. Saturn in the third. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the fourth house. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the fourth house, then this is for you. Saturn in the fourth house has a big focus on the energies of emotion, controlled emotions. And I will say that Saturn in the fourth house is a little bit of a contradiction, a little restricted here, because it is a very emotional and is ruled by Cancer, by the moon, which is a little bit of the enemy of Saturn. So what happens here is that if Saturn is strong in the fourth house, then it can give you some really great results where you're very conservative, naturally, very conservative with your emotions, very conservative in your roots, where you come from, your history, your past. You like this more conservative approach. Naturally, if it's strongly aspected, there's also this energy of taking responsibility for the family matters. So you are very responsible. You want to take care of family. You want to take care of the home. You take care of the maintenance of the home. You don't disregard the things that your family needs or the home needs. When it's strongly aspected, you also get a very strong energy of relationship with your family, and mother improves over time. So at the beginning, it could be difficult. At the beginning, it could be like, how did I end up in this family? I feel like I never was supposed to be born in this family. They don't get me. I don't get them. I'm the black sheep of the family. This is usually the black sheep of the family. But if Saturn becomes strong here, it naturally starts making you stronger in your relationships with family, and especially your mother energy improves with that over time. There's also this energy when it's strong that it likes a simple and orderly home. So you may not need like extravagant homes. You just need it to be simple and orderly and stable and grounded. This is the type of home that you really appreciate to live in. When it's strong, it also gives you an energy to enjoy the quiet and natural surroundings around you. You may really enjoy doing gardening work. It may relax you a lot. It might take you a while, but you really appreciate the peace and the calm and the orderliness and the quietness. This is very healthy for you, to not have a noisy house. To have a very quiet and simple and relaxed house is very important. Also, there's this energy where if it's strong here, it gives you the benefits from land and foreign connections. So you can really benefit from Any real estate, land work, flipping homes, agriculture. Saturn strong here can really give you some great abundance and prosperity through any of those means, as well as even cooking, food, anything like this. As well as having these very foreign connections naturally that can help in creating your assets of the home and real estate even stronger. It is super important that you maintain your car clean. It is super important that you maintain a nice looking car. Don't drive a rickety car, and and keep your house nice. Don't leave the house like badly painted or like ugly or like whatever, who cares? Like, it needs to be nice, orderly, pretty. And the more you maintain your home and your car and your land, like mow the lawn, like don't just let it get crazy. The more disciplined you are with your home life, the more naturally Saturn is going to give you great benefits of this fourth house. And also very slow and steady growth of fixed assets. So Saturn in the fourth house doesn't negate you having fixed assets like a home, car, conveniences like this, but it's a steady growth to them. It's a steady growth to them. I do encourage you to, achieve owning a house one day. That's a good thing for you. Achieve owning assets in your life. It's a good thing for you. Not because you can live like, well, I can just live in my friends' couches all the time, and why do I need to exert myself and get a mortgage? Saturn wants you to do it. No shortcuts. So now if Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, or retrograde in the fourth house, it can give you some different results here where you could be experiencing very slow emotional growth. It takes you a while to grow up emotionally, to mature emotionally. And because of this, you suffer. You suffer a lot because of your immature emotions. There could also be this energy where it's blocked or interrupted education, where you don't want to learn, or you don't want to educate yourself, or you don't want to, what's the point of me graduating? What's the point of me going to school? What's the point of learning math? Nobody cares about it. What's the point of learning this? I'm never going to use it in my life. Like these attitudes. Saturn debilitated in the fourth house, not a good energy, and it doesn't bring better energy to the fourth house. There could also be this energy where you're inexpressive, like you may have a hard time expressing your emotions. You may have a hard time like just being in happiness. The thing about this is that this is the home of happiness, the home of the heart. And when Saturn comes here, I've seen that people who have a Saturn in the fourth house, they may feel this feeling of like, well, what is happiness? What is that? What's that thing? What's like what? Like there's some thing that is like not real, that just goes away really quick. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of happiness? And you may sometimes even ask yourself, it's like, what is true happiness? And so there's like this lack of just being able to tap into just the happiness of the emotional joy, like feeling, joy because it's just a beautiful day, feeling joy because like the simple things of life. You may have a very hard time having that joy from the simple things of life. And so Saturn here debilitated can really give that emotion, like that inexpressiveness, that emotional block to happiness, that inability to really tap into like contentment and feeling truly joy and happy. There might be an energy of distress, joyless, where you don't really feel like, oh, I feel joyful. Like you don't, and you may even make fun of people who are like joyful. You're like, why are you happy? Happy about what? Because you got a cupcake? Who cares? Like you can have that attitude. They could also be fearful. Because of this, a lot of things enter in your heart, like this restriction of the heart and this fearfulness when Saturn is debilitated in the fourth house. There could also be restrictions with family and with mother. Maybe your mother was a very restrictive, or to the other side, she didn't give you enough discipline and you really needed it. You didn't really found like a structure that you can count on. There, it was like, figure yourself out by yourself, like this thing. And you could have also felt like family was just restricting you. You could have felt like, this is not where I belong. What's the point of family? What's the point of Thanksgiving? What's the point of Christmas? Who cares? Like, what is the point of being with my family, which I don't even feel connected to, or like they're like strangers to me? I don't even know how I ended up in that family. This is a debilitated Saturn in the fourth house. Also, trouble with home and vehicles. Again, do not let it get to that point. Do not let it get to the point where your car is just rickety, where it got a bump and you don't fix it, where the bumper is like falling apart and you're like putting it with duct tape. Like, no. Don't. Now with the garbage can, the garbage bag that is covering the broken glass. No. Please take care of your car. Take it and get it, cleaned inside and out. Maintain it as best as you possibly can. Saturn here would really reward you for that. Also, retrogressive, kind of secluded, not going out and like having that open-heartedness towards the world. You can have health problems as a child. In childhood, maybe childhood was very difficult. Also, any lung or heart problems could show up with Saturn debilitated in the fourth house, as well as breast ailments, cancer, and reproductive problems as well. So we want to definitely strengthen that Saturn, make it very powerful. Make sure you check out the remedies at the beginning of the video that can really help you in strengthening your Saturn best ways possible. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like to understand your Saturn placement a lot deeper and how it matches with everything in your chart, then I highly suggest that you book a consultation with me in the description here below, where we can go deep into the understanding of your karmas in this lifetime and how to overcome them. So book one today in the description here below. Alrighty, those were your messages for Saturn in the fourth. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing our beautiful Saturn in the fifth house. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the fifth house, then this is for you. Saturn in the fifth house is a very interesting placement because here we are being focused on intelligence. This is the house of intelligence, the house of the past life karmas, the benefits, the fortune of your past life karmas. So when Saturn is strong in the fifth house, it gives you this very powerful energy for attentive to spiritual practices. Very attentive to spiritual practices, especially if you have a mantra chanting, routine, then it's even stronger. You could be that person that really takes your spiritual practices very seriously, especially mantra chanting very seriously. It could be very healthy for you to do it as well. Also, when a Saturn is strong here, it gives you the follows of traditions based on spiritual movements or guru. So guru is the one that teaches you how to go about it, and you follow what guru tells you. You go through a more traditional route that has actual scriptures, that has actual evidence, that is not just some tradition, religion, or philosophy that somebody just pulled out of their butt and speculated and created whatever. Like, no, you follow the most traditional path, the most austere path, and the path that is the most real. When Saturn is strong here, it also gives you this energy to be drawn into the ancient scriptures. You will do great reading ancient scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Upanishads. Like, all of that will be fantastic for you to truly get into, and you will love it and you will understand it. Like, for example, the Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, which is 12 books. It's like a major spiritual encyclopedia, and you will be that person that will read it, that will read the whole thing. When Saturn is strong here. When Saturn is strong here, you also get a steady frame of mind. Your mind becomes very steady, very grounded. You are somebody who's highly creative when it's strong here, but your creativity needs orderly. You can't be that spontaneous, crazy artist that just like needs a canvas and just to throw canvas and like to throw paint in a canvas and just like go crazy. No, your art is not improvisational. Your art needs structure. You need to know what to do first, the techniques, first step, second step, third step, and as long as you have this for any sort of creative expression, you will do very, very, very well, to the point that you can become a great master at this creative art or creative expression. When Saturn is strong here, you are also you do best with low risk speculation. Yes, boring investments are the best ones for you. No, too much volatility, not the best thing for you. Like boring, long-term investments, those are going to be the best speculative, low-risk speculative things for you, for sure. When Saturn is strong here, and it will give you good money with that. When Saturn is strong here, it also gives you a practical point of view. You are very practical in the way that you go about things. Your intelligence is very practical, very logical, naturally. And there's also an energy where you lead a simple life. You don't need it to be intense. You don't need it to be extravagant. It's like a very rich inner life, and it doesn't have to be this intensely extravagant external life. Very simple life. Simple life, high thinking. That's what my guru says. Also, the unassuming and very gentle. You're very gentle, and you do your duty in all things. Naturally, you do your duty in all things. Here, it gives you the ability to have very responsible children. It gives you the ability to have responsible children who are going to do their homework, who are well behaved, who are very responsible naturally. I mean, your children may even bring you the ability for you to be more grounded in your life as well. That's when we have a positive Saturn in the 5th house. Now, when Saturn is debilitated, retrograde, or badly aspected, or just weak from your own actions, the Saturn is going to be giving different results here. Where Saturn may be giving you setbacks with the government, setbacks with any sort of government like the IRS or any authority figure, or setbacks in your speculative business if you're doing really high risk investments. Also, you could be very slow for mental growth, where you just feel like you're not learning as fast as you wish you can learn, or there's like issues with learning, issues with understanding. This is a weak Saturn in the 5th house. It could also be giving you delays and distance in romance, where you are just very skeptical of love. Like you feel like, oh, this is a great love. Oh, I'm leaving. And like you just reject it. Like you don't believe in this love at first sight, or love that can just come to you. Like you're very like, very skeptical with love. If Saturn is strong here, then it gives you a strong ability to pick the right romantic partner for yourself. And when you're in it for the long haul. And the partner also takes you very seriously. But when it's debilitated, you just become kind of avoidant, and you delay and you distance yourself from romance here. There could also be this sort of restrictions with children, where either you don't have any children, you don't get any children. I actually think Saturn in the 5th house does very well with becoming an older parent naturally later in life. But if it's badly aspected, it might just not even give you children, or children become a source of restrictions, and they restrict your life. If Saturn is debilitated in the 5th house, it could also give you these feelings of lack of fun. Like life is not as fun. You're not feeling fun with your passions. You don't feel like you're the most creative person. You feel like you don't have one creative bone in you. You don't know how to have fun in sports, or you're just like, what's the point? Like you kind of inhibit yourself from having fun in your life and having that joy. Not very agile with sports if Saturn is debilitated here. It could also give you a reluctance to disclose things, as well as you underestimate problems. You may just be like, oh yeah, it's a problem, but not really. And like you underestimate the gravity of how it can build up into something more difficult later on. You can be obstinate. You can be quite submissive too with this Saturn in the 5th house, as well as, having a heart trouble, having heart conditions, hypertension, pain, or operations in the mid-chest or mid-back can happen when Saturn is debilitated in the 5th house, as well as a weak digestion. So if you're experiencing any of these negative side effects, then I highly suggest that you go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video. That could really help you in creating a stronger Saturn for yourself. Now, these are the general messages. If you would like for me to actually go deep into your chart, understand your Saturn at a deeper level, your karma, and how it is that you can really assert yourself to heal it, then definitely book a consultation with me in the description here below, so that you're able to book one today. Alrighty, so that is for you. Thank you so much for being here. Saturn in the 5th, and now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 6th house. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the 6th house, then this is for you. Well, Saturn in the 6th house is actually a pretty good placement. As I mentioned, Saturn really loves to be in very difficult houses, and 6th house is a difficult house. So having Saturn in the 6th house really gives you the energy of a steady in service. And that is exactly what Saturn loves to be. Saturn loves to be in service energy. So when Saturn is strong in the 6th house, goodly aspected, in a good sign, then Saturn here is going to give you a great capacity to serve and do one's duty. And so some people may call you a workaholic. Some people may say that you are somebody who needs to always be doing something, but when Saturn is strong here, you do your duties, and not just the work duties, but also the duties of life. You are dutiful with your health, you're dutiful with your family, you're dutiful with your position in life, you're dutiful with work, you're dutiful with your lifestyle overall when Saturn is strong in the 6th house. It could also give you good focus. You focus very well in the things that you want to get done. You focus very well in fixing the problems and getting the issues straight away. You focus on the things that need to be focused, even if they're tedious, miscellaneous, and a waste. For some people may feel like, oh, it's like this time waster. You focus very well on those things, and you know that those are the things that really build up the whole stability of life on a daily basis. Also, Saturn here, when it's strongly aspected, it makes you very attentive to details specifically. So very attentive to service of other people's needs, very attentive to the detail, and very attentive to any sort of thing that is out of place that may be causing an issue, a problem. So this makes you a great logistics person. You are a great worker. You tackle problems in a second. You're the problem solver. Everybody can count on you when Saturn is strong in the 6th house. It also gives you a conscientious assistant. You are very, alert to what your co-workers or your employer or your higher ups or your authorities need from you. And this also makes you shine at work naturally. When Saturn is strong here, it gives you great energy for authority on the rules and the procedures. You're very good at this, so you can be an amazing manager. You could be that person that administrates everything. Very good with this. You're very detailed, legal. You're very contractual. You could be a great lawyer because of this as well, just in the service industry or just in administrative industries. You could do amazing with the Saturn in the 6th house when it's strong here. It also gives you the ability to be a powerful healer. When you do want to study anything with healing or medicine, you could be amazing at this. Amazing at this. Now, you also are the righter of wrongs. Okay, you are the one who fixes things. You are the problem solver of everyone. And Saturn, makes you very strong with these things. You put things back in order. You follow orders to the T. Okay, you follow the instructions to the T. And this is why a lot of the higher ups and authorities adore you, because when you have a strong Saturn here, you really show up impeccably. There's also this energy of being very, you persevere through the end. You persevere through the end. Even if there's a problem or an issue, you just don't like, oh my God, this is getting too much, I'm just going to drop it. Or, oh, this work is too much, I'm just going to drop it. Like, no, you persevere until the end and you make it happen, which is very powerful. Also, you're very hard to defeat or wear down. It's hard for you to get burned out. Now, when you do get burned down, you get burned down really hard. But you are just somebody who you just fight, you work, you do, and it's very difficult to defeat you naturally. Your enemies truly fear you because of this. Also, you benefit with older relatives. Your older relatives really help you out on a daily basis. Working with older people on a daily basis, working with old people who are older than you, working with more mature people than you, this will be the greatest thing for you. Now, if Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, weak in this 6th house or retrograde, then you could be getting some different results, or you could be experiencing, you're quite inflexible. There's like an energy of feeling stuck. There's an energy of feeling burned out. There's this energy where you get into too much of the microscopic detail of things that it debilitates you from finishing the work. Saturn, if it's debilitated here, it can also give you this secretly slander. You secretly slander others. You secretly become like an enemy with others. So very important to watch out for that. Also, any trouble with pets. Pets bring you trouble. Pets bring you more of a heavy burden in your life when Saturn is debilitated in the 6th house. It could also be a poor self promotion, where you keep yourself in like the low service place instead of allowing yourself to go up. You don't promote yourself enough. You don't advocate for like the great talents that you have. Saturn in the 6th house kind of keeps you in this sort of small serviceable role. So when Saturn is debilitated in the 6th house, it could also give you any trouble with helpers. If you are hiring people or people are working for you, you could be having trouble with them, and they're not giving you what it is that you need. So that is a Saturn debilitated in the 6th house problem. Also respiratory ailments, as well as mental or nervous system disorders, where I would really suggest for you to be drinking too much caffeine or energy drinks with a Saturn in the 6th house. You may be, over pushing your nervous system, over pushing yourself to get work done by stimulants. Very, very, very bad. So yes, stress levels, we need to keep them regulated. Cortisol levels, we need to keep them regulated with the Saturn in the 6th house so it doesn't become very debilitated. There could also be this energy of paralysis, paranoia that can happen sometimes, digestive stagnation, digestive issues overall, as well as accidents and slow to heal. And again, very strong Vata disbalances that can happen here. So we want to make sure that we're balancing that Vata dosha. Check out Ayurveda to understand more about Vata dosha so that you can understand how you can balance it out more in your life. So if you have experienced any of these situations, these negative situations of Saturn in the 6th house, then I highly suggest that you check out my remedies at the beginning of the video. That could really help you in creating a more healthy relationship with your Saturn, and to get more of the great benefits that Saturn can give you in the 6th house, because they are really, really good. The karma here is that you came to serve, but serving your body, your health, and your own lifestyle is first, so that you can truly serve in the right way. So those are your messages. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much, and remember that these are general messages. If you would like for me to look deep into your Saturn, your karmas, your destiny, and how it is that you can tackle these fears and these challenges, then definitely book a consultation with me. In the description here below, you will be able to book one today. Alrighty, this is for you, Saturn in the 6th house. I hope that helped. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 7th house. Welcome to anybody who has Saturn in the 7th house, then this is for you. Saturn in the 7th house is an interesting placement, and when it is strongly, when we have a strong Saturn here, it could actually be great benefit for your relationships, but it needs to be strong. If not, it could be a different story. So here, Saturn in the 7th house definitely gives you this controlled partnerships. Your partnerships are meant to be with people that are older than you, wiser than you, more elevated than you, more... You may have, I think, for older people naturally in relationships. Your relationships are also meant to be in a long term, okay? So you don't really benefit from one night stands or little datings here and there. Like, you really benefit from getting married strongly. Strong marriage, strong commitment. That is what Saturn wants to see in your life, and it will give you a partner for life, for life. You can really have that ability here with Saturn in the 7th house. Now, it might take a little bit for that partner to come, but once it comes, it's really for the long haul. So with these control partnerships, when Saturn is strong in the 7th house, it can really give you a steady and practical in business dealings as well. So not just love relationships, but also business relationships, as well as clientele. You are steady, you are practical in your relationships with them, and you maintain that strength and that longevity and that groundedness and commitment in your commitments naturally, business or love. Also, there is this unemotional interpersonal relationships. Your relationships may not be the most full of love and all these things, but you know you can count on them, and they know that they can count on you. There is this more solid nature, this more mature nature that happens in your relationships with your committed love partner. They could also have this sort of detachment, decision making in trade naturally. So this also can make you a great business person because of this. You don't get emotionally entangled in your business. You actually keep it very solid, very grounded, very real, and very mature. So that is when Saturn is strong in the seventh house. It could also give you a very dutiful energy towards partnerships. So even though your partnerships may not be the most romantic, you still are highly responsible for them. You show up, you do your best. You just have this natural ability to be very responsible with your partnerships naturally. There's also this energy of feeling very, very focused on getting the results. Naturally, you want to be very focused on getting the results, especially if it's in business. This makes you a great business person naturally, because you know how to cultivate serious relationships, and people also take you as that person that is serious and committed in their relationships, regardless of what it is. Also, it gives you a very powerful relationships to improve over time. So at the beginning, it might be tedious, it might feel constrictive, and it might not feel so full of spontaneous love, but your relationships really become amazing as it gets older and older and older. Like your best years with your partner are going to be in your elderly time, where there's going to be a very deep, powerful bond between the both of you. There's also this very powerful benefits from partnerships with foreigners and with foreign connections. So you do well, working with foreigners, having foreign clients, having foreign business partners. This is a great way. So Saturn here, when it's strong, can give you amazing ability for great business, great business. If you are very committed and honorable and respectful of your relationships. Now, if Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, retrograde, or just weak from your own actions, Saturn can be giving different results, where maybe we are experiencing an obstruction and delays in forming partnerships, business partnerships and love partnerships, where it's just feeling very delayed here and just a lot of obstacles to get there. We can also be feeling like a poor in business, not having good business in our lives, not maintaining good business in our lives. And it's like we're not very good at keeping relationships intact and having honoring our commitments to others. This could be a debilitated Saturn in the seventh house. It could also give you restraints in your emotions, as well as feeling unfeeling, especially towards partners and business partners, and therefore the partnership struggles financially and emotionally when Saturn is in the seventh house here. So again, we have a big responsibility to partnerships when Saturn is in the seventh house. Even if we are like, oh, I can just do it all alone. Why do I have to care? They should just take care of themselves. With a Saturn in the seventh house, you have the responsibility over them, and you have the responsibility to really show up to your commitments, business partnerships, and love partnerships. There could also be this energy of being feeling deceptive, being having some sort of betrayals in love, or you betraying. That is really, really bad with a Saturn in the seventh house. Very, very, very bad. Any sort of cheating or things like this, Saturn will really bring it down with the punishment. Also understates and hides things from partnerships, or hides things from your business partnerships. So again, transparency in relationships is very, very important for Saturn in the seventh house. We could also be feeling any functional or business-like response to sex. Like in marriage, it's like this function, is this practicality, is this business, like I married you for your money, that's it. I marry you for these things, not for anything else. We're not here because of love. So this could also be showing a Saturn in debilitation in the seventh house. There could also be this energy of lack of libido, lack of connection, lack of connecting with someone, as well as any sexual organ problems. Now we get into the physical issues. Partner gets sick. Your partner may always have sickness. Your partner may be somebody who is very strict, who's very grounded, who's very responsible, but this is the partner that is best for you, even if you sometimes feel like it's just busting your balls and not making you just have this light marriage, light relationship. No, Saturn is teaching you that relationships are not this game. They're a very serious thing. and also can give you kidney problems or lower back pain. So if you're experiencing any of these negative symptoms with Saturn in the 7th house, then I highly suggest that you go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video that can really help you in strengthening your Saturn naturally. And also remember that these are general messages. If you would like for me to go through each of your planets, especially Saturn, your karmas, your problems, delays, fears, and give you some sort of practical plan for how to overcome the difficulties of Saturn, then definitely check out how you can book a consultation with me in the description here below. In our consultation, we will be able to go deep into these matters. Book one today. Alrighty, so those are your messages. Saturn in the 7th house. I hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 8th house. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the 8th house, then this is for you. Saturn in the 8th house is a little bit of a difficult placement because Saturn in the 8th house gives you a sense of a restricted life. So here, we really want to have a very strong Saturn. I would really suggest for you to always be doing the remedies at the beginning of the video. That could really help you in having a very strong Saturn in the 8th house, because this naturally could be a very difficult placement for Saturn. So when Saturn is in the 8th house and it's strong in the 8th house, it's powerful, it's strong, then this can give you results where we actually have a very long life. Okay, we have a very strong longevity and very long life in our lives. We also have this energy of being modest in a modest life as well. Like, we are not so extravagant. We have a modest life, a modest way of living. When Saturn is also strong here, it gives us a great focus on the mysteries of life. So you could really be an incredible occultist, incredible mystic, incredible sage, a very powerful metaphysics person who loves the occult, person who loves all the forbidden knowledge and the forgotten knowledge. Like, so you would really benefit from reading a lot of Shastra, reading a lot of ancient scripture, and becoming very well educated in the mysteries of life and all the things that have been hidden. Of course. Also, when Saturn is strong here, it gives you a great energy for researcher, very powerful researcher, very dedicated research, very disciplined researcher naturally. Also very strong spiritualist. You definitely want to have a spiritual practice with Saturn in the 8th house. This is going to be a great benefit to maintain a strong Saturn in your life. Also, it gives you health, it makes you a sort of a health expert, gives you healing powers, healing ability, not just healing the body, but also healing like the psychology, the mental aspects of life. So a very powerful health expert, as well as, you keep secrets and come in confidences. So you're somebody that people can count on, that you're not going to tell their secrets to. You will hold them till until you go to the grave. You don't expose those things. So when Saturn is strong here, it really gives you that ability. It also gives you the ability of being a great investigator, powerful investigator, researcher, great detective. You really are very solid in these things, as well as it gives you a great energy for benefiting from tradition and old things as well. So you get great benefit from tradition, traditional markets, traditional investments, boring investments. Those are the best ones for you, as well as very old things of the old world, things that are old people. These things are great benefit for you. Some of you guys may even, collect old things. You get benefit from these things that are old and old people. Also, you work with matters converting to the close of life. So like insurance, you can be great with insurance, great with mortician, also very good with estate planning, probates, anything that has to do with like the ending of life. This could be great places for you to make good money in as well. And when Saturn is strong here, it also gives you a life. It's better in the later years, for sure for you. Now, Saturn in the 8th house is quite difficult, because Saturn in the 8th house, if it's not strong, it naturally makes us a little bit of a control freak, extra control freak, where we want to control everything. And we are fearful of having this energy of vulnerability. especially vulnerability around intimacy, letting anybody in, letting anybody into you to see into you. So this is when Saturn can cause problems, especially in long-term relationships, because there is this sort of block in sexuality, or this block in our intimacy, or this block in our vulnerability, and that is required for two people to grow together. So that is one part. When Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, or not strong enough, or just retrograde, or weak from our own actions, Saturn can give us different results here, like becoming very controlling, having issues with sexuality, having issues with intimacy. It can give you problems like where we called Shani Ashtama. This is when Saturn is in the 8th house. So Shani Ashtama is when Saturn is 8 places from your ascendant or your moon sign, whether if it's in birth or transit. So it is a difficult sort of placement here. And so it can create intensely possessed with a singular desire. There's a very strong sense of obsession that can happen here when Saturn is debilitated. And this desire can be bad for you, like an addiction, pornography, some sort of, perverted kink, or some sort of obsession of some sort. Even if it's obsessing about conspiracy theories or obsessing about mysteries, like the obsession gets too much, and then Saturn becomes it jeopardizes our life here. So Saturn is supposed to be very strong here. So if it's debilitated, we may have these obsessive things. We may also have this sense of frustration, or the sense of worrying, very shy, very introverted, very strong loner, very isolated, very like you isolate yourself from the world, kind of staying in the shadows, kind of staying in the dark, lack of support because of this. You may feel like there's no support from others at all. When it's strong, it can give you the support of older people, wise people that are more mature than you. But if it's badly aspected, debilitated, or retrograde, then it can give you the opposite here. It could also give you an energy while fearing of abandonment and disappointment. So this is that part of controlling where we fear being vulnerable. And so we may abandon the person before we become abandoned, or we may disappoint the person subconsciously on purpose so that we don't become disappointed. There could also be this energy of they abandon or disappoint others because of that. So they do it the other way so that they don't feel it. They may also abuse or be the abusing person. So they may be the one who get abused, or they might be the ones who abuse others. So again, I would really say that people who have Saturn in the 8th house to truly always have a therapist. Always have a therapist. You guys would really benefit from getting a reading by me to also understand like your tendencies in life, to understand your weaknesses. It's about understanding your weaknesses and your strengths so that you can make better choices in life. But not to hide away from what is secret or unknown, but you would really benefit from like, okay, let me look at what's hidden from me. Let me look what I can't see. Let me look what I fear and understand it. And so any type of thing that helps you in this way, either therapy, counseling, having a reading with me, astrology, you would really benefit from these things to help you in developing this Saturn in the 8th house. They also may have this energy of toxic systems, toxic ways to go about things. I really suggest to never lie, to never cheat, to never be dishonest, to never hide things from your partner. Like affairs, like this is detrimental to a Saturn in the 8th house. Detrimental. It's like the more you just practice being vulnerable, even if it's uncomfortable saying the truth, even if it's uncomfortable being super honest, that is the best way to go about it. That's what Saturn wants to teach you. Also, there could be like scandals because of this, because we're hiding how we feel. We're hiding what we really want. We're hiding things. Scandals can really happen like this. Also, chronic diseases can happen here because, of course, when we have too many secrets and we're not honest, then this can really poison us and we can end up with chronic diseases. There could also be problems with elimination and reproduction. This is the anus part of the chart. So Saturn here can give you problems with elimination. You would really benefit from having lots of fiber in your life naturally. And also reproduction. Always take care of your reproductive system. Always take care of your reproductive organs. And they get taken care of somatically by being able to be vulnerable and open up intimately and sexually as well. Partner may have restricted finances. So if it's a woman's chart, it could, or a man's chart, like it could really have like a partner that has kind of restrictive finances. The 8th is the second from the 7th house. So there could be some sort of restriction in money here. And also vata disorders, again, too much vata in the body, too much air, too much like not eating enough, not eating at the same times every single day. Like vata is like one of the doshas of the Ayurveda, so I'd really suggest that you check out how you can balance out vata, and check out the disbalances that vata can also give, because that will show you how you can strengthen a little bit more of the Saturn and not have so many chronic ailments. And also a very troubled early life. So Saturn in the 8th house is difficult. It's not an easy placement, but again, it's not a punishment. It's just something that needs to be paid off. And definitely it's important for you to do the remedies and check out the understanding of what Saturn is all about, so that can give you more of the understanding, instead of seeing it as like, oh, I'm cursed, or it's a, what a terrible thing that I have Saturn in the 8th house. It's just what we need to go through in our lifetime. This is not for you to feel debilitated. This is for you to feel empowered, and that there's always a way to make it better. So definitely do the remedies at the beginning of the video. That's really going to help you understand Saturn a lot more. Make Saturn your best friend, and that's going to help you to get the benefits of Saturn in the 8th house. Absolutely. So check it out. Those are your messages, Saturn in the 8th house. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like for me to look deep into your chart so that you can understand your Saturnian placement, your karmas, and how it is that you can clean this out specifically for your personal chart along with the rest of your planets, then definitely book a consultation with me in the description here below. Alrighty, Saturn in the 8th. Those were your messages. I hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 9th. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the 9th, then this is for you. Saturn in the 9th shows that you have a very big responsibility in karma when it deals with matters of faith and belief. A Saturn in the 9th may naturally make you somebody who's quite skeptical to life, skeptical to things, where you're like, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, I don't believe in this. And that's cool and all if you want to be the most atheist of them all. But what happens when we don't believe in anything and we have this skeptical attitude towards everything, then we can naturally start not believing in ourselves as well. So Saturn here wants you to actually build a strong sense of faith. Be very disciplined with your duties, and be very disciplined with your religion, and be very disciplined with your philosophy in life. And that is not just like saying, oh, I don't believe in that, period. But then what do you really believe in? Ask yourself this. What do I really believe in? Something that I believe in that I can tap into and have faith that can come into my heart. So Saturn in the 9th house really has this focus on the high ideals. It wants you to be somebody who's righteous, who's principled, and who takes these things very responsibly. So when Saturn is strong in the 9th house, then it gives us great results. Like, we want to help others. We are very analytical. We are very philosophical. We can be counted on. We're very spiritual. We're very righteous. We're very correct. We are also very sensible. And we have great organizational skills. We are a great organizing plan. Like, we organize our things very well. When Saturn is strong in the 9th house, it also gives you the sense of being a publisher. You can definitely publish your work. You can publish books. You can be a publisher yourself. And Saturn here in the 9th house can give you a great career in that. Saturn in the 9th house can also give you this very strong energy for legal mind. You are very fair naturally. You know, this is the right thing, this is not the right thing, and this is the responsibility of this person, that's the responsibility of this person. So very, very righteous in that way, and a very legal mind. You also have the energy to travel to foreign countries when Saturn is strong in the 9th house. You may travel to other countries, meet older, wiser people in other countries, wiser teachers. You may have a very powerful guru teacher that really teaches you the way of life when Saturn is very strong in the ninth house. You're very serviceable towards your guru, and this gives you great benefit when Saturn is in the ninth house. It also gives you, you're very drawn to traditional and ancient belief systems and rituals. And this is great benefit for you, doing these ancient rituals, following these ancient beliefs, following these ancient traditions, following these ancient religions, philosophies in life. That shows that it's a very strong Saturn in the ninth house, and you get great benefit and great auspicious energy from it. There's also this amazing energy where you feel very spiritually observant, very spiritually connected. You have a very strong faith naturally when Saturn is strong in the ninth house. It also gives you a conservative or traditional father. Your father is very conservative. Your father is very traditional. There's this sort of energy about him. Or your guru is very conservative and very traditional. So it gives both a great benefit here with Saturn in the ninth house. It also gives for fortune that builds over time. So when Saturn is strong here, it could definitely give you great fortune that builds over time. Be patient with yourself, have faith, keep doing rituals, maintain a consistent discipline with your prayer, with your mantras, with your rituals, with going to church, with going to temple. Like these things, the more consistent you are, the better it would be for you and the stronger your Saturn will become. Now, if Saturn is badly aspected, debilitated, or not, or is just weak from your own actions, then Saturn can give you some different results where you may have a lot of restrictions and delays in your life, and especially from fortune, delays and restrictions from authority figures or from your father figures like guru, your father, your employer, your government. There's this sort of restrictions that may happen, maybe restrictions from getting a visa or getting a residency or getting a citizenship. Like their Saturn here can build a lot of restrictions around that. There could be also resents philosophic control by others. So this shows a weak Saturn in the ninth house where there might be this rejection towards righteousness, moralistic, and again, being skeptical of every single philosophy and religion and not wanting to follow any of them. There could also be this sort of energy where problems with younger siblings and neighbors, since it is the sixth from the third. So there is this energy where there might be problems with that, problems with your siblings, younger siblings, and problems with the neighbors when we have Saturn in the ninth house. Debilitated. When it is debilitated, it can also give problems with father struggles, problems with the father or father restrictions. This may bring bad luck and bad energy towards your father's chart when you have a debilitated Saturn in your chart. It could also give hip joint problems, problems of sciatica, problems of the hips, problems of your legs, any sort of liver issues as well, liver problems as well. And it could also give respiratory ailments, problems traveling to foreign countries, or restrictions of fortune that can naturally happen here. So again, if you're experiencing any of these things with Saturn in the ninth house, then I highly suggest that you go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video and also understand Saturn a little bit more so that you can strengthen your Saturn more and get more of the great benefits that Saturn can give in the ninth house. Your role here is to learn how to really step into that righteous and moralistic role in life. And to respect your teachers, to respect your authorities, and to respect your father is a great, great thing. Not doing this can bring immense, immense pain and karma here. So Saturn really wants you to build that strong faith that you can always count on, that it becomes unshakable. So that is for you, Saturn in the ninth house. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And remember, these are general messages. If you would like to have a more specific message to your situation, then I highly suggest that you take advantage of my promo and book a consultation with me in the description here below, where you can book a consultation and we can go deep into your natal chart, your current transits, and for you to understand more about what is Saturn really for you, what does it mean for you, and what is the best strategy to handle the problems and difficulties that Saturn may bring in your life. So book one today in the description below. Alrighty, so those are for you, my beautiful people of Saturn in the ninth house. I really hope that helped. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 10th house. Welcome. If you have Saturn in the 10th house, then this is for you. Saturn in the 10th house does very well, actually, because this is the original house of Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn, and this is the original house of Capricorn. So Saturn, when it comes into the 10th house, it can actually give some very, very great results. Saturn here really gives you a career over time, which is exactly what a career should be. We build our careers over time. So Saturn promises you this, and you have a great responsibility to building something in your life, to becoming responsible, to becoming some sort of leader, CEO, business owner, or somebody who is really going to be known as that rock, that very powerful person who was able to be disciplined and build something in their lives and be that example towards the world. So Saturn in the 10th house gives you that career over time. And when we have a strong Saturn in the 10th house, then we can get some really good results, like structured, being very steady, being very conservative, being very traditional approach to life, traditional approach to your business, traditional approach to how you build money, how you build reputation, how you build your business. You can become an incredible CEO, an incredible executive who executes things. You are highly responsible. You can hold it together for many people. You can have big enterprises that really grow with time, and you're able to handle these big businesses in a very natural way. You may have a very steady growth in life, a very steady growth in your career and finances when Saturn is strongly placed in the 10th house. You may also have a very practical, hardworking attitude, hardworking energy. You could be very conscientious of how to become a good leader, how to go about it. You don't crack under pressure. You actually work really well under pressure, and you maintain your cool, you maintain your groundedness, and that's why you become such a great leader for others. You may benefit from foreign countries here. You may benefit from foreign countries. You may benefit from working with other countries, or working with people from other countries. This could be something really good for your work. There could also be this very monk disposition. You just like you can live a very monk lifestyle, and you may be very monk lifestyle with your career, where you're just like, I get up, I work, I do what I need to do, and I do it again the next day, and I do it again the next day. You're the type of person that really loves to work just for working. You prefer to be working than to just not be doing anything. So it's like you get a lot of happiness from just working and from just being part of something and building something. So this is very, very good to overall create something really wonderful in your life. There is this energy that your disposition increases with age, like your reputation increases with age, especially if you start working at an earlier age. You have a very strong interest with old things, classical things that are very classical. You could be that person that sustains those classical benefits, or classical arts, or classical techniques for other people and for the world. You sustain that. You sustain the things that have worked for many years. There's also this energy where you are very good at working with common people. You bring a lot of happiness to the common people. Like if you were to become some sort of president, or like a president or a governmental position, you really do it for the working class. You really watch out for them. You rule with an iron fist. You rule with this strong, tenacious energy, and you lead with strong, tenacious energy, but you are also very kind to the common people, the poor people, the people who need help. You become like that protector. You also, in anything that is connected to the earth, can do very well for you in your career. But you will be remembered as that person who definitely brought stability, groundedness, who achieved, who was very hardworking, who was very stable in their career. And so Saturn really teaches this and really gives you this great benefit. Now, when Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, weak, or retrograde in this chart, in the 10th house, then it can give some different results, where Saturn may be giving you, like, it gets a job position, but it's surely knocked out or down. Like, you lose the position, you don't stay in the position, you get fired very easily. It's hard for you to be consistent in one career. It's hard for you to be consistent in one job. You could also lack a good reputation when Saturn is debilitated in the 10th house. You could be a little bit uncertain or finds little purpose in life when Saturn is not strong in the 10th house. You may also have a career related to hard work or serviceable laboring, where you just kind of stay in this very laboring energy and you don't ascend to a higher position. When Saturn is debilitated in the 10th house, we can also have restrictions in family life, feeling like a little bit like a misfit, feeling like you dropped out education, and so the status never really gets up as much as it can. There could also be an energy where it doesn't build up a career or financial base. You just kind of live day to day, and that can be difficult in your overall life. So Saturn can be debilitated in the 10th house when it shows this. Also moves from place to place. You don't stay still. You don't build something in one area, and that debilitates your Saturn in the 10th house. Also, there might be problems with the knees. You can have knee problems. You could also have arthritis or heart, breast, or chest ailments when Saturn is debilitated in the 10th house. So if you are experiencing any of these things, I highly suggest that you go check out the remedies at the beginning of the video. That could really help you in strengthening your Saturn a lot more, and also understand at the beginning of the video more about Saturn, so that you can start making Saturn your best friend, so that you can get more of the great benefits that Saturn in the 10th house can give you. So that is for you, people with Saturn in the 10th house. I really hope that helped. Love you guys so much. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like to have a specific message to your situation, where we can go deep into your natal chart, understanding Saturn a lot more, the karmic understandings, the karmic feelings, and also how it is that you can manage this Saturn in your benefit, then definitely book a consultation with me where we can go deep into your natal chart. Book it today. Alrighty, those were your messages. Saturn in the 10th house. I really hope that they helped. Love you guys so much. And now we're going to be doing Saturn in the 11th house. Saturn in the 11th house is a very interesting and good placement. Saturn here actually is very happy to be in the 11th house, because the 11th house is its original ruler of Aquarius. So Saturn naturally rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is the original ruler of the 11th house. So Saturn can give some very good benefits when Saturn is in the 11th house. Saturn here gives you a structured gains. This is the house of gains and collaborations. So Saturn, when it's strong in the 11th house, it can give you a great energy for pursuing opportunities in a structured and prudent manner. When you approach these opportunities, collaborations in these matters, Saturn really gives you great benefits, and it gives you great results naturally. When Saturn is strong in the 11th house, it can also give you some great energies to be able to add to existing processes and inventions. It can make you a great inventor. It can help you to gain more gains over time throughout life. You can escalate your gains one little by little, and be impatient with making those gains, but you definitely make gains that could really last you for a whole lifetime. When Saturn is strong in the 11th house, it can also give you great profits from traditional and established businesses. Okay, so those not new businesses, like old businesses that have been there for 50 years plus. Those are the businesses that really give you great benefits, great gains, great results. Conservative investments give you great results when Saturn is in the 11th house. Also, when Saturn is strong in the 11th house, it can also give you great gains through older things. So anything that is about older things, older stuff, classical stuff, like if you're doing stocks on iron or stocks on oil or stocks on timber, like things that have been there forever and they're not necessarily something new, that could be really good for you, and it could give you great gains. Also, we have here your older siblings. You can gain from your older siblings. Your older siblings are very mature, very wise. Listening to your older siblings could be a great thing for you. Your older siblings bring a lot of structure into your life, and they do bring lots of gains for you. There's also this energy of long-time friends. You can make friends that can stay with you for a lifetime. And you prefer to have friends that are older than you, friends that are more mature than you, friends that are more wise than you, and because of that they always help you to get to your dreams and aspirations. So you are very selective with your associations, and you don't necessarily like immature associations. You like more of the mature, structured, and old school, and OGs of associations naturally when Saturn is strong here. It also gives you the energy to be close to friends that are mature and influential. They already have a reputation. They already have something to show up for themselves. And these are your friend circles, which is fantastic. Saturn here, when it's strong, it could also give you an interest in the issues of the common man. There could be a very strong humanitarian energy in you where you really want to help in the best ways, but the way that you help is not in this frivolly, willy thing, but you are very concrete and stable in a practical way that you can truly help the common good. And there's also this energy where you can really be very politically savvy, very, very politically savvy when Saturn is strong in the 11th house. Now, if Saturn is debilitated in the 11th house, or badly aspected, or retrograde, or just weak from our own actions that we've taken, then Saturn can be giving you different results, like giving you friends and older siblings. They actually cause more of an obstruction to your financial gains. So you can see if Saturn is actually strong just by seeing your associations. Is it a karmic relationship, a karmic friendship that every single time you're with them, you're like losing money, it's not helping you? Then this is definitely showing that Saturn may be debilitated in the 11th house. Also, trouble with children. You may have a trouble with children, trouble having children, trouble with your present children. So that could also be showing a debilitated Saturn in the 11th house. Also, unromantic partners, since it's the 11th of the 5th. So you may be having some sort of unromantic partners. Your partners are not that romantic. Your partners are not that, passionate, or you may not feel very romantic. You may not feel very passionate. That could be a debilitated Saturn in the 11th house. There could also be this energy where setbacks from partners' speculations. So friendship speculations and partner speculations, like they say, hey, invest in this or invest in that, and that actually brings you more losses, then this could be showing a Saturn in the 11th house debilitated, that we need to really strengthen it. As well as having low level interests where you are, you're like not having any dreams or aspirations, and you're just like, why do I need to do that? Who cares? Why do I need to go for my dreams? Why do I need to aspire for my dreams? So there could be this sort of like copping out of life and not necessarily embracing your passions and desires and dreams and aspirations. And that could be a restriction here that Saturn is giving you. And Saturn may be debilitated, because here Saturn is giving you the responsibility of making your dreams come true. Like, get serious about your dreams, get serious about, having the right people around you. And when you have the right people around you, then your dreams become easier to achieve. So Saturn really wants you to master these things. So if Saturn is also debilitated, you can also have this energy of questionable honesty, where maybe you're not as honest, and that causes issues. Also, any problems with hearing or ear problems, trouble with your children, as I mentioned, and also any circulatory troubles with heart issues. So this is all showing a debilitated Saturn in the 11th house. If you're experiencing any of these things, then I highly suggest that you go check out at the beginning of the video. I have some remedies for you. Those remedies are really going to help you to bring more balance and to bring more of the good things that you can get from Saturn the 11th, because it's a great placement if you have a strong Saturn here. So those are your messages. I really hope that they help. Love you guys so much. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like to have a more in detail about your personal Saturn in the 11th, as well as all the rest of your other planets, and a full reading of your chart, then I highly suggest that you book a consultation with me today, so that you can actually understand yourself and we can help you to reach your dreams and aspirations. So book one today. That is for you, Saturn in the 11th house. I hope that helped. Love you guys so much. And if you like them, make sure to give me a like and a hype. And please let us know in the comments what is your Saturnian placement, because then you can find out more people who also have Saturn in the 11th house. Alrighty, now we're going to be doing our beautiful Saturn in the 12th house. Welcome, Saturn in the 12th house. Saturn in the 12th house, if you have Saturn in the 12th house, then this is for you. When we have Saturn in the 12th house, we have a focus on liberation. So Saturn here really wants you to take your spirituality very seriously. You have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that you are taking care of the spiritual matters of your life. And when Saturn is strongly aspected in the 12th house, it can give you some very good results, like you're very drawn to life in places of seclusion and also of any sort of isolation. So Saturn here likes to be isolated, likes you're drawn to it. You're drawn to an isolated life in the middle of nowhere, or you are drawn to ashrams, or you are drawn to temples, or you are drawn to institutions that isolate you, like hospitals or asylums. Like these are naturally, or retreats. You like retreats or anything where it could be a place where you can isolate. Now, when you do have Saturn in the 12th house, you are a little bit more prone to ending up in these places. So don't be a criminal. Don't be a criminal. Don't do things that you're not supposed to be doing, because Saturn can naturally isolate you into prison, into asylums, or into hospitals. But you can also choose to isolate yourself in temples, in ashrams, or in retreats. That could be very beneficial for your Saturn in the 12th house. Also, there is this energy where you are very dedicated to the poor. You could be somebody who really likes to help the poor, likes to help in charity, likes to help others. You do very well working in a nonprofit and something that, for volunteering. This is something that makes your Saturn very, very happy when you are able to help those who are less fortunate. There could also be this energy where you're very charitable and very humanitarian because of this. You want to help those people that cannot help themselves. So doing anything charitable, anything humanitarian, or any career that goes towards these things, that will make your Saturn very, very happy. As well as anything, you could be somebody who's very stoic naturally. Stoic doesn't mean that you don't feel things. A stoic just means that you respond like very consciously of how you're going to react to things, not emotionally. And people may think that you're just very like stoic, but you feel a lot, but you just, you process your emotions and you respond instead of reacting. When Saturn is strong in the 12th house, you can also get the lives, you live a very simple life naturally. Saturn wants you to live a very simple life. You will do very well being a monk or a brahmachari, or somebody who lives a celibate life. Saturn here would really benefit from that. It wants you to really kind of dedicate yourself to that spiritual path more than anything. Saturn in the 12th house can also give you this energy of many relocations for spiritual reasons, where you really are looking for that best place so that you can do your practice. Also, Saturn in the 12th house, when it's strong, it can give you visits to faraway places. So it's very good for you to travel to faraway countries, faraway lands. That is very beneficial for your Saturn in the 12th house. It wants you to visit these faraway places and faraway lands. It could also give you this energy of weariness and this energy where you also want to visit very holy places. So pilgrimages and holy sites and holy places are fantastic for your Saturn in the 12th house here. So Saturn wants you to embrace letting go of the attachments, embracing liberation, embracing spirituality, taking those things very seriously in your life. And so your process here, Saturn, if it's strong, it will help you to detach from all these material things in life and to help you to ascend to a higher level of spirituality, making you very humble, very serviceable, and even coming to a point where you can become an incredible spiritual teacher yourself. Now, when Saturn is debilitated, badly aspected, retrograde, or in an enemy sign, or just weak from your own actions, then Saturn can be giving you different results. First, what I have seen is that Saturn in the 12th house can definitely make you be far away from your father, give you kind of father issues. Your father wasn't there, or your father maybe passed away very early on. And so there is this thing with the father where it gets kind of blocked with the Saturn in the 12th house. It gets isolated. The father goes to faraway lands, faraway places. Also, I have seen that Saturn may lack in financial interest, where there's no interest in really building financially, building a situation of steady income or steady grounded financial life. When it's weak in the 12th house, it can also give this energy of weariness or disinterest or lack of sexual pleasure. There's this block there of interest in sexual activities or sexual pleasure. That's why it could be very good for a monk life. Saturn in the 12th house can also give too much in charity. Now it's like extreme, getting too much into charity where they're not taking care of their own material life, and that shows like a weakness in Saturn in the 12th house. It could also give like a social misfit where you just feel like you don't fit anywhere, you're just this outcast all the time. That is also a Saturn in the 12th house debilitation. We want to strengthen that Saturn. There could also be getting into lawsuits or having any personal attacks when Saturn is debilitated in the 12th house, because it is the 12th. 12th is the 6th from the 7th. So it could be giving these issues of enemies and lawsuits and problems when it's debilitated in the 12th house. If Saturn isn't weak, then it can also give losses, loses liberty through hospitalization, ending up in jail, ending up in fines, penalties, on imprisonment. So as I mentioned, you never want to do the wrong thing when Saturn is in the 12th house. Like, do not, because Saturn will isolate you and it will put you in confinement. So let's not do that, especially if it's debilitated. If Saturn is debilitated, it could also give you some physical debilities, especially involving the eyes, the feet, the teeth, and the gums. It could also give any general uneasiness throughout life, especially in childhood when Saturn is debilitated in the 12th house. So we do want to strengthen that Saturn. If you're experiencing any of these things, go check out the beginning of the video where you can really find out the remedies for each individual Saturn in the houses, and that could really help you to strengthen your Saturn so that you can get more of the beneficial positions of Saturn in the 12th house. So check it out. And remember that these are general messages. If you would like to have a specific message to your situation, then I highly suggest that you take advantage of my consultations. In my consultations, we can go deep into your Saturnian karmic patterns, understanding Saturn, making a plan of how you can execute something for the benefit of the planet, and not just for Saturn, but for every other planet in your chart. So definitely book one today in the description here below. And those were your messages, my beautiful Saturn in the 12th house people. Thank you so much for being here, and please let us know in the comments if you have Saturn in the 12th house. What does this mean for you, so we can find other people who also have Saturn in the 12th house? What is your story? Please share it with us, and if you like it, make sure to give me a like and a hype. And that is for you, Saturn in the 12th. Thank you so much to everybody for being here to find out and understand more about Saturn in the different 12 houses and understanding more about what Saturn is all about. Sending everybody so much love and light. Thank you so much for being here. Truly, truly appreciate you. And I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Hari Bol and Hari Krishna.